Dobro dnia. Thank you very much, and thank you for this invitation. It's difficult then to take the floor after Arseniy. Confessions and sort of injection of optimism, but I will complement probably some of his comments. But first of all, I wish to wish you all welcome on behalf of Cathy Ashton, the High Representative for Security and Defense, Foreign and Security and Defense Policy of the European Union and Vice President of the European Commission. She couldn't be with us, but she asked me to say how much we value also in Brussels that this Arseniy Yatsenyuk Foundation gives us regular possibility to come together in Kyiv and to talk about the major issues of this region and of this country. But talking about the prospects of EU-Ukraine relations in the context of security, we may not forget that the European Union is a security project itself. In past December, the EU was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for over 6 decades of contribution to the advancement of peace and reconciliation, democracy and human rights in Europe. James Sher introduced us yesterday in the security discussion by saying that security begins at home, but even reconciliation begins more inside people than at home, and this is probably a prerequisite also for the security, that we reconcile people, that we bring people together. This is the very core of the European project. It's if we know how it has been born. It has been born out of ashes of the most devastating war in the world history, and it took a really courage to all these founding fathers who had this vision to create such a vehicle for bringing people together. But one of the major principles of the European project has always been that only rape democracies with good standards in human rights and on rule of law shall be accepted as members. Therefore, it took years until some southern European countries could join the European community after overcoming dictatorships. It took also decades for Central European countries to fight against the Cold War and totalitarian communism. And one of the driving engines for the opposition in our part of Europe, one of the driving engines for Solidarność in 80s was our wish to join this peaceful project, and the project which was very future-oriented, not based on some geopolitical past strategies. And the scope of the project is to give to the future generations the better future and the better possibility to use their own potential. President Van Rompuy said at the ceremony in Oslo on the 10th of December, Europe must keep its promise of peace, and this is the Union's ultimate purpose. And if we are talking here about peace, security, we had yesterday the focus also on protracted conflicts. This is not that something may be delivered forever. We have always been very vigilant to cope with all the conflicts. We had it in the 19th in the Balkans. We still have with us certain protracted conflicts, and we have to help people to overcome by reconciliation, by peace, by engaging together, and to create a common future. And the scope and the purpose of what we are as European Union now focusing on with Ukraine is just to propose this association with the European Union. Association is a long-term engagement. It is also a way how to share values before sharing institutions. This is one of the steps on the way to engage in all the process of European integration. And I will stress and highlight one of the most important elements of what this association is all about. It is about creating better conditions for Ukraine to modernize its own structures, to have, as Arseniy just said, this action plan for making Ukraine more friendly for its own citizens. Ukraine is among countries which lost so much citizens in the past 15 years. More than 7 million Ukrainians went abroad. This is a huge plebiscite against what the current situation in the country is. People, they wish to get a new perspective. Based on the experience of other countries, we may say that this association and this toolbox proposed by the European Union is a very good engine to make the country more citizens-friendly. More citizens-friendly because it puts a person, a citizen, in the center of the interests, that the politics serves citizens. The European model is to reduce the scope for politicians, to increase the scope of action for citizens, to make out of the principle of presumption of innocence one of the core principles of judiciary, to make the administration to work on service of citizens and not the citizens to be in service of administration, to make the economy more competitive. It's much more than only about free trade areas, about access, about markets. It's about access to the markets. The markets are there. We will not invent new markets. What Ukraine needs, it's to get a better access to the market, to be more competitive on the markets. And therefore, this toolbox could serve really the purpose of a national development strategy of Ukraine. In my different talks, I'm quite often bring to the point to say, if you think in the terms of national interest of Ukraine, use this toolbox to increase the attractiveness of your country, because it will be most about Ukrainian attractiveness. And before ending my last point, which is also a reflex of what I'm listening from different sources, what I'm reading in different comments. The association is per se a positive offer. It does not contain any negative consequences for other partners of Ukraine. And it does not contain any possible retaliation for joining other structures. It is something which gives more opportunities for all partners of Ukraine. If Ukraine economy is better working, if Ukraine, by the functioning of internal structures, is a more stable country, it opens possibilities for all other partners around, be it from the European Union, be it from Russia, be it from other parts of the world. This is to make Ukraine more in focus of interest. This is what I wanted to share with you as my comments with regard to this relation about be prepared for tomorrow. The politics is about thinking what may happen in 2, 3, 5 years. It is thinking in the terms of generations. With my Polish background, I only may say that it proved a fantastic adventure for Poland to join the European Union, and I hope it is also a perspective for Ukraine. A zaraz bажаю вам гарного дня і дуже цікавої дискусії. Дякую вам.